Should Christian girls embrace the transgender movement? We thought the gay agenda was bad enough, but now they're coming after our gender too? Good thing I showered in holy water before this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is round 2 of the Girl Defined deleted blog series. Last time we discussed their blog about the evil homosexual agenda, and this time we will discuss their opinions on the transgender movement. And who better to discuss LGBTQ plus issues than a girl whose husband is rumored to have gone to conversion therapy twice. I don't know if he actually did or not, but if that's true, that poor man. Not only did he have to marry a woman when he's not attracted to women, but he had to marry that woman. Imagine marrying Bethany from Girl Defined. Someone save him. But without further ado, let's get into reading this dumpster fire. I looked into the eyes of a little 9-year-old girl as she explained to me why she thought being transgender was okay. How did this topic even come up when you're talking to a 9-year-old? Hi Bethany, I'm ready for Jesus time. That's great, Cindy. Just one question.
How do you feel about the transgenders?
I don't really care, as long as they're happy, I guess. Oh no, they've brainwashed our children as well. This was a Christian girl attending a solid Christian church and involved in several extracurricular church activities. Despite her upbringing and young age, this little girl was already being forced to ask some big questions, and sadly, her conclusions were not coming from the Bible. Sadly, this little girl is having to answer a generation that has decided to play by their own rules and live by their own standards. She's being forced to decide if God's word will be her foundation of truth, or if culture's ever-changing values will be her truth. First of all, I love how they bring up how her upbringing and how involved she was in the church. We indoctrinated her so well. How on earth is she forming her own opinions? I don't think this 9-year-old girl is really thinking too deeply about being transgender. She probably saw a transgender person once or something, or somebody brought it up, and her parents just simply explained to her that some people are born in the wrong body and they have to transition, and that we just need to respect that. I'm sure her parents just wanted her to grow up to respect people and not be a judgmental jerk. I wonder how Kristen and Bethany would act if their child asked them about being transgender. Mommy, what does it mean to be transgender?
What did you just say?
Well, I just... Who uttered that disgusting word to you, Cynthia? I heard a girl say at school that her big brother is transgender, and I just wanted to know what it meant. You are never to speak to that girl again. Satan might be corrupting the rest of this godless world, but I will not let him corrupt you too. Now go to your room and say your prayers. The conversation I had with this little girl so saddened my heart. I was saddened to see how much pressure she was facing to accept the transgender movement, even at her young age. I was saddened to see her heart leaning more towards a feelings-based system of belief rather than a firm belief in God's unchanging word. In our generation, this topic of gender is one we as Christian girls can't ignore. Culture's "you decide whatever feels right for you" system of belief is being shoved in our faces everywhere we go. The billboards, magazines, movies, TV, and social media are all trying to convince us that embracing the transgender movement is non-optional. You either totally embrace it, or you're a hater. Oh my gosh. I am Jazz. Ugh, maybe this one. Hey Bethany. Oh, hey Emily. How are you? How do you feel about the transgender community? What? Come on, Bethany. Don't be a hater. I gotta go. Wow, what a bigot. We are so not friends anymore. First of all, accepting that the transgender community is perfectly valid isn't really based purely on your feelings. Honestly, I don't really care what somebody identifies as. Just tell me your pronouns and I'll respect them. But you can't deny the science behind being transgender. Studies have shown that transgender individuals have a similar brain structure to the gender that they identify as. So for example, a transgender man, although he was born biologically female, he has the brain structure of the typical male. And even if there wasn't really any evidence to support being transgender, why would you care this much? Even if it's against your religion or whatnot, why do you have to make this much of a fuss over it? Just respect people, it's not that hard. There is no agenda being shoved down your throat. It's just trying to make the world a safer place for people of all different identities. More rights for somebody else doesn't mean less rights for you. As Christian girls, what is our response? Do we jump in and go along with the current? Do we accept the movement and go on with life? How in the world do we know what the right response is? Yes, get on with your life. None of this really affects you. You're acting as if you're in a battle and you're trying to figure out what the right strategy is, to avoid getting invaded by a country or something. This isn't that deep. For me, the questions are actually very easy. I've decided that God's word is my foundation for truth. The Bible is my guide for life. I believe in it 100% and trust what it says is truly best. I believe that God is a God of love and desperately wants what is best for his creation. When I look back to the creation of humanity, I can clearly see what God did. He had a blank slate. He could have created whatever he wanted, but he could have created 2 guys, 2 girls, genderless people. He could have done whatever, but he didn't. He created male and female. God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them. God intentionally created us on purpose and for a purpose. He loved us so much to give us clarity as to who we are as humans and what our general purpose should be. He didn't leave us to wonder what our gender was or to have to figure it out for ourselves.
You are so ignorant. They really think it's that easy, huh? I'm not transgender myself, but I've heard from a lot of transgender people, and they didn't just wake up one day and just decide that they were sick of their gender or something. I don't think they chose to have gender dysphoria and feel like they're in the wrong body constantly. This isn't something that you can just pray away, believe it or not. I remember a family member of mine saying that if they had a kid who was transgender, they would read Bible verses to them. And that was just such a stupid thing to say, in my opinion. Imagine confiding in your parent that you feel like you're in the wrong body constantly, and you felt like that for years, and to the point where you might even consider taking your own life, as a lot of transgender people do, unfortunately. And they respond by bringing Bible verses to you and trying to cure you that way. Seriously, what on earth?
For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, my soul knows it very well. We as Christian girls need to realize that God created us. He loves us. He sent his son to die for us. He wants what's best for us, and he knows what's best for us. It's up to us to choose what our foundation of truth will be. Will we trust our Creator and believe that embracing the gender he gave to us is ultimately best for us, or will we be rebels, live by a feeling, and choose to redefine our standards of truth?
Oh yeah, tell that to all the transgender kids that end up taking their own lives because they feel like they're in the wrong body constantly and they can't do anything about it. Why don't you tell them to just embrace their gender? I'm sure that'll cure their gender dysphoria. Something I don't understand is why gender dysphoria isn't treated like any other condition to these people. I'm sure that if their child was born with an illness that could be treated or cured, they wouldn't just sit there and say, oh, well, God made them with this illness, so obviously God wants them to have it, so they'll just embrace it, because God doesn't make any mistakes. No, they would accept the treatment for their child because they want to give their child the best life possible. So when their child is born with gender dysphoria, why is that any different? And if you say, oh, well, kids don't know whether or not they're trans. First of all, transgender people usually know from a very young age that they're different in that way. They just don't always have the words to express the way they feel. They don't know the term transgender, or they don't know how to express it. And second of all, even if the kid was just confused or whatnot, if they're on hormone blockers, you can take them off of hormone blockers whenever you want. Plus, don't they have to go through like years of therapy, to diagnose them with gender dysphoria first? It's a long process, isn't it? So yeah, even if they found out it was just a phase, it's not the end of the world.
Make the Bible your guidebook for life and believe it wholeheartedly. I promise if you choose to make the Bible your standard for truth, issues like transgender, homosexuality, etc. will become very clear to you. The truth won't be confusing because God does not leave us guessing on this issue. He is as clear as can be. If you'd like to deepen your understanding on these issues, I would highly encourage you to check out Chapter 5, Gender You Are So Magnificent, in my book. Krista and I spent an entire chapter discussing the topics of gender and why we believe embracing God's design for gender is truly what's best for us, either male or female.
Wow, it must be pretty easy for you to embrace your gender, since you're not transgender. And it must be pretty easy for you to oppose homosexuality, since you're not gay. If somebody was telling you that you could never be with somebody that you love because of their religion, you would be upset. Or if they were telling you just embrace your gender while you were constantly feeling you were in the wrong body, you would be upset too. But you're not. These people's struggles don't affect you, so why should you care or take the time to listen to them? Well, you care a lot more than you should, actually. I honestly wish you cared a lot less. So that is the end of that blog. Thank you guys for watching this video, even though we're literally reading and reacting to complete garbage. Why is it so entertaining to read nonsense? But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Please comment down below what you want me to discuss later in the future, and I will see you guys next time. Stay safe, y'all.